Okay, it's time for Therapy Corner. And Joan and I just came from listening to her husband Steve play at Duets. Is that what it's called? It was really nice. So we had a nice time. And so afterwards, I wanted dessert. So guess what? Quick Trip. Quick Trip. And I wanted something else too. I wanted a banana freezy. So I got that. I got both of them. And then what I do is I doctor up my ice cream from Quick Trip with some imitation vanilla. I do. I pour a little bit in here. Anyway, yeah, and it's like really good. You don't want to do too much though, but it's good. So that's my little treat because tomorrow is going to be something different.
And what kind is this?
That's banana.
Banana.
Mm-hmm. And you got an ice cream cone.
Mm-hmm.
Is it good?
Yeah, it is good.
Mm-hmm. So we just this Therapist Corner, and it's a Friday night, so we get to do what we want to do. It's my channel, so I'm gonna do what I want to do anyway. Okay, so we were trying to think of what to talk about, and you mentioned emptiness. I think that's a good one. So tell me about that, and see where that takes us.
Well, I just with our clients and with just people in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think they feel a lot of emptiness during this time, because social media and less of interacting with others. And I think with the COVID, they've learned to distance themselves, but unconsciously just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a lot of people just lonely and empty, and that feel hollow inside.
And I think about what it reminds me of is like gaming and just continually doing some repetitive behavior. Well, actually addiction, because addiction is temporary satisfaction. It doesn't replenish. And you got to keep doing that thing to get that fix or that high. Which, there's something inside that is needing attention,
Right.
that is not getting the attention. But it's really hard for people who I think might be used to numbing themselves. It's hard to sit in silence with that thing.
With themselves.
With themselves. Yeah. So sometimes one of the exercises that I'll have my clients invite them to consider doing is to just take a moment and feel where the child inside of them might be. And usually the child is in a room and sitting in a fetal position. I'm thinking of one particular client. That child part won't talk to her. Is like angry with her. Won't say anything to her. But the child part is aware that she's there, but it's just angry. So where does the anger come from? The anger is because the client has continually to put the child in unsafe situations. What do I mean? Rescuing people and bringing them into her home.
That's good.
Bringing other people around that are unsafe, that do unsafe things. And so the child within her has expressed just anger. Why are you putting me in this situation again? Why do you keep doing this to me? Why do you keep doing this? So as the client is trying to connect with the child doesn't want to have anything to do with just wanting to talk to her. And so that was one of the homework assignments that I gave her, is just to let the child know that you're there. Let the inner child within know that you are there. Don't try to do too much too soon, but just try that. And then there was something else that that I came up with, and that's the thing, the beauty of the counseling profession is that we get to create things and we get to use our God-given talents, and however the Holy Spirit leads us to talk to a client, then we're able to just do that. And so one of the exercises that I came up with, I think it was another client who was traumatized, and I said, with that inner child part, or the part that's angry, or the part that's whatever the parts are, I said, as you write that letter to the person, to the abuser, to the perpetrator, consider writing a letter that all of your parts would have an input on it.
And that's good.
Isn't that good?
That is good.
All of your parts. The angry part gets to participate in the letter of what it meant to be abused by this person. The shame part.
And you're not talking about multiple, dissociate identity, dissociate disorder. You're talking about just the trauma part that splits.
Yeah.
People don't understand that there's the split in us, or in trauma clients that stopped at their trauma.
Those fragmented parts. And they hold memories, and they hold, they witnessed it. And so they don't want to see the client, the person, go through that kind of trauma again. And so these parts hold on to some younger beliefs that are often not valid anymore for where the client is now in their chronological age. But they get stuck in the same patterns and behaviors over and over again. And these patterns and behaviors continue to show up in their life in different ways. And so one of the things that God has gifted me, I'm able to help them make those connections as to something that you did, in childhood, you're still doing some form of that right now, today.
Yeah. That resonates. That resonates even my personal life, I guess, in a way, struggling through the trauma and realizing, wow, where'd that come from?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's really insightful for them to understand that part of them.
And so you were talking about the emptiness, the loneliness. That can be a part, this part. And so one of the things that I might encourage the clients to do, or audience to do, is to sit with that emptiness, that empty part. What is that empty part saying?
Right. That's good.
What is it saying?
Right.
So
and that's scary for a lot of clients.
Yeah. And so asking the question to the empty part, what is it that you need from me? What do you need from me?
Yeah.
And then maybe making a commitment to spend 5 minutes a day with the empty part. Just the empty part. Because what I know about internal family systems and doing a basic course training is that there's an empty part, but there's always another part behind the part. There's always another part behind the part. So I don't know what that part is. And so in establishing a dialogue with that part internally, you're not just talking out loud to the part, you're talking internally. It's internal family systems. You will discover what that part is.
That's good. Because people don't understand, well, I'm this way and I'm that way, and all the moods, and it could be just parts that they didn't address.
And remember, like, was it last weekend? I don't know whenever it was, but I know it was like 2 weeks ago, and I got mad and I was frustrated. And, well, yeah, I'm ashamed of myself. But yeah, I was frustrated because the person pulled in the parking spot and didn't let you back up, and I just took. But a friend pointed out to me. She said, Yvonne, you take on other people's. If you love someone and care for someone, you'll take that on. It's just like, I'm gonna fight for them. And part of that, as I'm thinking about it now, is me fighting. For others because I maybe didn't feel someone stood up for me.
Right.
So I'm taking that on. Oh boy, and I'm gonna get them.
Right.
But that's not my battle.
Right.
That's not mine.
Right.
So that was some awareness, and that's why I like having therapist friends and having a therapist, because these are things that get pointed out to us.
Right.
So self-awareness.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Anything else that you can think of you want to say?
Well, as far as those parts, and I think that's good, because when you talk about, because there's other therapy that would want to integrate them, and I think it's important to acknowledge them before you integrate. And that might be something, because you need to understand that parts that didn't get what they needed before to integrate, because integrating, you lose that aspect of acknowledging the part that was absent, the need and the safety and the acknowledgement of, this is what happened. And kind of the internal justice of being together after that, of understanding that you're telling yourself what you need, and then the wholeness and then that togetherness comes together.
Yes. Yeah, you don't want to bring them together when there's no cohesion, when there's no understanding. These parts witnessed, and just as clients need their story told by themselves, however they experienced it, so do the parts. So do the parts. They need that. And so giving them that space and just journaling, just writing down, okay, what is this part saying, or what does this part need? How can the client meet that part's needs? And it's really something so simple. And I really, it's a challenge to work with children for me, because I kind of outgrown that. But I love working with the client's parts, because parts are so fascinating, have such personalities, and
and that sounds scary to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's not as how would you say it? As a disorder that would make you shy away from it, that this is scary, that you got parts. It sounds scary. But think about it. Different people bring out different parts of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're with certain people, you feel more bolder,
more courageous.
Yeah. And other people, you're more shyer with them because something about them. So it's not as,
scary, and it's not crazy, and it's not scary. Yeah. That's the work of internal family systems, is the work of Dr. Richard Schwartz. He was working in an eating disorders clinic in Chicago in the 80s, I believe, and noticed that he's a marriage and family therapist, and noticed that they were saying the same things. Well, this part says, you're a fat slob and don't eat any more Twinkies. And another part says, just throw up. And another part says, you're just going to be just like your parents, and you're not going to be any good. Or this voice says this, or this voice says this.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
The voice. And people don't distinguish that's a part.
It's a part. It's a part. And so he created, instead of saying voices, because you think of schizophrenia and, he said parts, because that made it more acceptable, because we all have parts. It kind of, I think he says that parts, we've had parts since birth. I believe the parts are from trauma, but so there's some different views on that. I have witnessed parts more from a trauma perspective. So anyway, yeah, so we're giving some people some information. We're giving clients or people who are watching information, and we're giving them homework to just sit with their parts, sit with that loneliness, sit with and see what it is that part needs. And then you can find videos and stuff on YouTube if you want to learn more about it. And there are also actually internal family systems therapists who have been trained. I've just had a basic course training in IFS. So I could not call myself an IFS therapist. I call myself an IFS informed therapist. There was a difference. So yeah, but it comes up a lot in sessions. People will talk about parts, and then that's when I go into the dialogue of how it was created by Dr. Richard Schwartz and help them understand it and normalize it.
And would that be along the line of, I'm going to throw this in, but mask? Have you heard that term? And that could be almost, if you want to dive into it, it could be, if you really dive into it, that could be their parts hidden.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so there's a lot of avenue where we don't address, because that's such your internal system informed, and I think that gets forgotten and it just addressed in a different way. But I love that, because it normalizes it and not make them feel like they're crazy. Or like there's something wrong with me. Until they address it and understand it, then they can heal that part.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I've witnessed clients working with that internal part, the little boy, the little girl, and healing it. It's like, it's so beautiful to witness that integration. I've seen it happen twice with clients. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So anything else? 'Cause our ice cream is melting. Yours is really melting.
It is.
So yeah, thanks for tuning in to Therapy Corner, and we'll be back for something else. And write a suggestion or something, because sometimes we struggle with having a topic to talk about. Thanks for watching.